Good day, everyone, to my fellow students and to our professor, Dr. Emerson Cabudol. Today, we will be discussing the chapter 7 of Recruitment and Selection module, which is the selection interview skills. These are the table of contents, the topics we will be discussing for today's module. First is the definition of selection interview skills, the interview formats, thorough preparation, the ABC of panel works, the right impression, listening with interest, common failings, beware of rush to judgment, and collecting evidences. These are the learning objectives the students must learn upon discussing this module. First is to define the role and importance of selection interview in the recruitment process. Second, conduct a proper interview using the methods and skills learned in this chapter. Lastly, to assess applicants fairly using evidences gathered during the interview. First, we will start with a definition of selection interviews. So, what is selection interview? A selection interview is a structured or semi structured conversation between an employer and a job applicant conducted to assess the candidate's suitability for a specific position. Its primary purpose is to gather job related evidence about the applicant's knowledge, skills, abilities, experience, and behavioral competencies in relation to the person's specification. So, the selection interview is relevant in recruitment and selection because it is the primary assessment tool and is often the most critical stage of selection process because it allows the direct evaluation beyond written applications and test scores. In essence, the selection interview connects the recruitment with final hiring decisions by validating which applicant best meets the job requirements. We have four interview formats that we will be discussing today. The first one is a standalone one-on-one interview. This is a single independent interview session conducted between a candidate and an interviewer where the hiring decision is based primarily on that one meeting rather than multiple rounds. Its key characteristics are one interviewer meets one candidate. The session occurs only once, unlike the series of standalone interviews and on different days, and the series of interviews back to back. Its evaluation process is completed after that one session. So the next is a series of interviews back to back. This refers to multiple interviews scheduled consecutively on the same day, where a candidate meets different interviewers one after another with little or no break in between. This is conducted in one visit only and within the same day, as I've said, and sometimes it's with multiple assessors and different focus areas per interview. And together, they will combine the results of the evaluation to fully assess that candidate. For example, a candidate is applying for an HR position. First meets the HR director for a strategic fit, then the operations manager for practical application within the same day. Third, a series of standalone interviews on different days. This is different from the series of interviews back to back because this happens on different days within the same week or same month. So, this refers to multiple independent interview sessions conducted on separate days where the candidate meets different interviewers at different times rather than consecutively on the same day. Its key characteristics are interviewers are spaced out over several days or weeks. Each session is independent and may focus on different competencies. Different interviewers may assess technical skills, managerial fit, or cultural alignment. For example, a candidate is applying for a managerial role. On his first interview, he was interviewed by the HR manager for his background and behavioral fit. After 2 days, he was interviewed by the department head for technical and leadership skills. And after 2 days again, he was called back for another interview with the director for strategic and future alignments. Lastly, we have the panel interview, which is a type of interview where multiple interviewers assess one candidate at the same time. Several interviewers are in one session and may assess the candidate with different questions that will evaluate him based on different prospects. For example, a candidate for a managerial role is interviewed simultaneously by the HR management for behavioral fit, the department head for technical expertise, and the operations director for strategic alignment, all in the same room and all within the same time. That is all for this topic. Next, we will be discussing the thorough preparation, which will be discussed by Mr. Legua. Would you please?
Good day, everyone. I am Joaquin De Blegua, and today I'll be discussing the true preparation in interviewing. What is true preparation? True preparation means reviewing the candidate's information, preparing structured questions, and organizing the interview schedule in advance. Uh, because of if we if we lack preparation, it can damage the organization's reputation, and it can send the message that when we're hiring new staff, we're making them feel that they're not important, and and preparation and preparation shows respect for candidates because they invest time and effort to attend the interview. For example, if the interviewer reads the resume beforehand, they can ask meaningful questions like, one example of this is if he noticed or he she noticed a 6 month employment gap, they can say that could you share what you were doing during that time? Uh, this can show that you are attentive and professional. Uh, on the other hand, if the company or if the interviewer asks what position did you apply for, it can make the company look like they're unprepared because they don't know what the employee are applying for. And preparing structured questions and managing time properly also can help ensure a smooth and effective interview process. Uh, in conclusion, true preparation reflects that it shows that you are a professional person. You respect the applicant uh, and you respect the applicant and remember that interviews are a two-way process. The candidate is also evaluating the company, uh, whether they can the company have a good environment. And next slide, please. So for the next lesson is we have the ABC of panel work. Uh, ABC of panel work. Uh, there are three when we're interviewing. There are approach when we're interviewing. The ABC approach. The first the first A is acknowledge your colleague. This means that recognizing them by name and respecting their role in the discussion. Uh, Panel members should work as a team, asking different sets of questions while actively listening to another. This prevents repetition and keeps the interview organized. And the second is the letter B, which means build on what your colleague says. Instead of asking unrelated questions, connect your question to the previous one so the interview flows naturally. For example, if a panelist asks about leadership, uh, another panelist they can follow up with another question about how the how the leader can handle if a team have a conflict. And third Third in the ABC approach is commentate positively. So what is commentate positively? This refers to uh, what your colleague asks and respond constructively. An example of this is uh, when we're interviewing when we're interviewing is uh, when we're interviewing we need to comment positively if uh, if the applicant ask a question or answer a good question. If he answer a good question, we need to commentate.
Good day, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Legua. I'm Sander Jalagmay, the one who will report the right impression. Now, in terms of interviewing, panelists may ulitin ko saglit. You, one, two, three. Good day, everyone. I am Sander Gilagmay. By the way, thank you, Mr. Legwat, your wonderful report. And I'm the one who will be reporting the right impressions. Now, one of the important thing in the interview is the right impression. Why? Because when the panelist or the interviewer see your appearance, your physical appearance, and how you dress, how you talk, and how you move, your body language. Um, this may be the sign that this may be the sign that they will recruit you, or they will be how we say like that, they will be looking positively for you because you have a good impressions, you have a good insight, you have a good personalities, you have a good physical appearance. So in that term, recruiter or the interviewer will see your potential as as their future employee that will handle the future works or the future task that they want to they want to succeed, right? So in this type of impressions, um, interviewer must like to dress accordingly with a formal attire occasions. No, the formal attire occasions. Um, One thing that interviewer is looking is how you speak, how you speak, how you move, and how you deliver your how you deliver your statement or your answer to their questions. Now, in terms of impression, physical appearance is must, but you need um to have a good attitude, good transparent attitude for that. Because why? Physical appearance is not just it's not enough to get the attention, get the interest of the panelists, you know. So combine the two impressions that panelists would find to you, which is the internal we call it internal impression and external impression. What's that? In terms of internal expression, um, they're looking for your attitude, they're looking for your personalities, your likes, your behavior, right? Your philosophy, your ethical behavior, just like that. In terms of outside, I mean, in terms of um, outer impressions, no, they look into your physical body. I mean, physical appearance. They looking for your how you dress, how you talk, how you speak, how you delivered your messages, how you delivered your answers, um, and how you manage to answer their question calmly. It's like that. So next, listening with interest. So, to become an active listener during interview, you can do this 5 ways. Now, if you want to think that the panelist is thinking about you, that oh my god, this applicant is very attentive in terms of listening. It's very attentive. So, um, what would be the what would be the what would be the I mean, what would be the impact when you listen carefully and with interest to the interviewer? So the impact that will give to you is you can answer their questions excellent. You can answer their questions with a lot of information. You can answer their question very well. So first, talk briefly as soon as possible. Don't pause. When panelists question you, don't pause. Talk briefly as soon as possible. Why? We don't want the silent air in the conversation with during interview. So talk briefly as soon as possible. uh, avoid the cut of your relationship between the interviewer or the panelists and the applicants. Um, so um, talk briefly as soon as possible, right? So if you talk briefly as soon as possible, the conversation the conversation will go in the right flow. The conversation will divert or will go to the um, next topic without any barriers, like canceling the stopping the first topic and then switching to another topic inconsistently, just like that. So second, use encourages such as and just like that. So what why do we need to use that and because when panelist is talking to you, or when panelist is speaking to you, you don't you we don't want to stay put just like this and then just listening. No, we don't want that, because it may look not interested. It may look that it may look to to the panelists that you are not interested to their statement, to this conversation, right? So use and for to let know the panelists that you're interested, that you are that all your is with them. So it gives the panelists the thought that, okay, this guy, this applicant is interested, this applicant is look interesting, because he or she is listening to our statement. So third, use body contacts such as nodding, smiling, and eye contact into the panelists. Panelists don't want a nonchalant person in terms of interviewing. Just like you're not using your body contact, your body languages. Uh, so body languages is a type of communication, right? So if you're making a body language if you're making a body language while the panelist is questioning or interviewing you, it is a good point for them, because um, it may it will look that you're really interested on them. It will look you're desperate to get the job. So use body contact is very important in while listening to the panelists, right? Number four, take notes to every details that will help you to answer the next question. Now, um, in this number four statement, so it's either you have a pen and a booklet, or you only think. So taking notes, the details of their statements will help you to answer the next question, because you have a information, you gathered information that might be a helpful to answer the next question, because what, it is like a puzzle, right? They're questioning you they're questioning you about this, and then they're questioning you about that. So, if you connect that question, you can make a pattern that what will be the next question they will ask to me, right? So, if you if you think about that, so if the question pops up, um, finally pops up, so you can answer it very easily, because you predicted that question, predicted that statement. So you can answer it by thinking advance, right? So taking notes without pen, or taking notes with pen, it's okay, as long as you delivered your message, as long as you delivered your answer very carefully, very informatively. So number five and last, look up if you're listening then. Look down if you want to check your notes. So if you're note if you're taking notes with pen, it's okay to look down if you want to check the information you want to know. So when you but when in during the interview, when the panelist is speaking to you, mm, don't ever look down. Why? Because it is very disrespectful to the panelist. Right? You're just like a just like this. Look up straight. Don't make the eye contact with them. So it's like this, because it is that is a respectful way to listen. That's a respectful way to gain the attention, gain the but what we call the interest of the panelists, because we want to get the interest of the panelists, but the panelists also want to get your interest on them. So look up straight, and then if you want to check the notes, just look down and check your notes. But don't look down. Don't look down necessarily, because I mean, don't look down frequently, because it may look bad for them, because it may look bad for them. Just timing it. Just take time to look down to your notes. Just look down to your notes when the panelist is not questioning you, or the panelist is preparing to question you for the next question, just like that. But if they're speaking, they're questioning you, just look up straight, listen carefully to what they say. So, you know, thank you very much for this report. And the next reporter is
So, good day, guys. I am John Kevin Duha, and I'm going to discuss common findings. And the first one is excessive reliance on intuition. So, what is the excessive reliance on intuition? Interviewers often rely too much on intuition. Instead of assessing candidates against clear job related criteria, they may depend on personal feelings or first impressions. This can lead to bias and unfair decisions. So, for example, wait, you are interviewing two candidates for a technical role. Candidate A has a superior technical skills but is quiet and has a different background. Candidate B is less qualified but shares your love for hiking and went to the same university as you. So you hire candidate B because you felt an instant connection and chemistry. You intuitively feel they will fit in better, ignoring the fact that candidate A is better suited for the job requirements. So the second one is looking for different things from others on the panel. Panel members may look for different qualities in candidates. For example, one interviewer may focus on technical skills while another focuses on personality. This lack of alignment can result in inconsistent evaluations. The third one is inconsistent interpretations. There may be inconsistent interpretations of candidates' answers. Without agreed standards, interviewers may judge the same response differently, leading to unreliable ratings. And the second to the last is inflated ratings. Interviewers sometimes give inflated ratings. So, this can happen because of sympathy or being overly influenced by one strong characteristic, which may not reflect the candidate's overall stability. For example, when candidates receive higher evaluations than their actual skills um, or potential warrant, often stem from cognitive biases, poor interview structure, and the motivation of hiring managers to meet, rather than to properly evaluate candidates. This phenomenon can lead to poor hiring decisions and distorted, overly positive view of an applicant's competence. So the last one is early decision making. Early decision early decision making is a common problem. Interviewers may form an opinion at the beginning of the interview and then focus only on information that supports initial judgment. For example, interviewer decisions are often made remarkably early in the process, which is Research indicating the initial, sometimes final, judgment can form within the first 4 to 10 minutes of a conversation, while some recruiters make up their minds almost immediately. Others use the remainder of the time to validate their initial impressions. So, beware of rush to judgment. A common awkward moment in the job interviews occurs when an interviewer quickly writes no on a candidate's form. With the first few minutes, this behavior is not only embarrassing for a candidate but also indicative of poor interviewing practices. Interviewers should avoid making premature judgment, as candidates may improve as the interview progress. So, thank you guys. That is my report. And next is Paul Maayo.
Good day, everyone. I'm Mr. Paul Maayo, and I will be discuss collecting evidences. Collecting evidences, the most important pieces of information or ideas from a topic, document, or discussion that capture its main meaning or purpose. Collecting evidence means gathering verifiable information about a candidate's qualifications and claims. It's about systematically collecting factual proof or evidence to support or refute information gathered during the recruitment and selection process. For example, instead of just asking if someone is a team player, ask for specific examples of project where they collaborated, what their role was, and the outcome, then follow up with their references to verify these claims. This could include checking portfolios, conducting skills tests, or verifying educational certificates. Next, key points. Key points are the essential elements that define the process. These are the critical aspects that must be considered to successfully attract, evaluate, and hire suitable candidates. Example, in recruitment, key points might include defining the job requirements, identifying target candidates pool, and crafting compelling job advertisements in selection. Key points could involve designing effective interview questioning, assessing candidate skills, and making a final hiring decision. And yun lang guys. Ay, thank you.
Thank you very much for a wonderful report, Mr. Mayo, and thank you very much, guys, for listening to our topic. We are Group 7, and we're thankful that you listen in this end of the part. So we're thankful that you are still here to listen to our topic. So I hope you understand. I hope you gain some knowledge. I hope you gain some information regarding the interviewing skills. So I hope that I hope that topic will help you to improve your skills when in terms of applying for the jobs interviewing interviewing uh, because skills interviewing is very important to gain the trust, to gain the attention of the panelists, right? So thank you very much again, guys. I hope you like it. I hope you gain some knowledge in this report. So good day, guys. Thank you, everyone. And thank you, Sir Kabudol, for this wonderful task that you gave to us. So, have a nice day.
In addition to our presentation, wait lang. In addition to our presentation, we have prepared a small assessment for a five question identification prepared to test your knowledge and the learnings you've gained through this lesson that will be posted shortly on our Google Classroom. That's all, everyone. Thank you and good day.
The purpose of that assessment is to know if you gain some knowledge for this report. So thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone, for this such a small conversation with us. So good day, everyone. I hope you have a pleasant day and keep going, finding jobs, and then always think that you'll become more successful in the future. Thank you.
Bye-bye.